Waterloo Central School Districts could be forced to go remote next week. What do we know about that?
Yeah, so this one came out of left field. Absolutely nobody saw this coming. So Waterloo Central School District, for those who don't know, has a shortage of bus drivers. The district announced this basically this past weekend on Friday that they're planning for a scenario where elementary students are going to keep learning in person, but all secondary students would go to some sort of hybrid remote schedule because of that bus driver shortage.
Yikes.
If they do go this route, they're also going to have to change the current bus route. So pretty much every student in Waterloo in the next couple weeks could see different bus routes, maybe students taking different buses, that sort of thing. This has been an issue that we had been hearing a lot about over the summer at districts across the whole region. But the announcement that, Waterloo may have to go remote for students 6th grade and up took a lot of parents by surprise, because we haven't really seen any announcements or news or headlines from Waterloo
Right.
officials saying, hey, we're still dealing with this bus driver shortage. We need to find some. So what's the reason behind it? At this point, the consensus is that bus drivers across the board just aren't paid enough. Because of inflation, because of wages in other entry-level jobs or what people consider lower-level jobs, having continued to increase
Right.
since the pandemic, bus driver pay hasn't really gone up with that. So for the stress that comes along with the job, for the training that comes along with the job, for the specialization that's required on the job in form of needing a CDL license, a lot of folks have just not looked at it as a sensible opportunity for them in terms of job. So you have districts across the board, across New York and even outside of New York, that are basically just doing as much as they always have been with
Yikes.
transporting students, with a lot fewer bus drivers to do it. So what happens next? The district says it's going to be meeting with students, advisors, everything like that. Messaging will be going out to parents this week, and we could see that hybrid remote schedule start within a week and a half.
That
It's tough.
I feel like, yeah, we could have a whole show on those topics versus a parent having to adjust, which is, I feel like, almost a lot harder than the school adjusting, looking at, okay, maybe the people that we do have for bus drivers have to do a couple more routes, or the time has to change. This is just me thinking out loud, but changing up the time to get students there, earlier
Yeah.
or maybe a little bit later, which could, again, still affect the parents, but
I think what a lot of people don't realize is that buses are a lot fuller now than they ever have been before, because of
makes
the
sense,
shortage
right.
that already exists. So it almost starts to venture into the territory of, if you're a school district, what do? You can only, shift things around in terms of routes so much. You've got X amount of space on a bus. You have X number of students that need to get to school. And that's it. You may have, a half dozen or 8 buses sitting at the bus garage, not being
Right.
operated, but short of having more operators for them, the district isn't kind of in a scenario where its hands are tied. That said, parents, yes, just
jeez.
taking a cursory glance at reaction on social media over the last 3 days since the letter went out to the community, was intense.
Yes,
A
very
lot of
intense.
parents have a lot of feelings about it. And, I think from the district's perspective, they think they're doing the best they can in terms of putting the students who it would be the smallest burden on parents to have them be home. So 6th grade and above. So, I
Can
guess
stay
12,
home a little bit.
12, 13, 14-year-olds
Yeah.
being the youngest group of kids who would be remote learning at home. But that still is tough for parents who, if there's one criticism of American education, it's that K through 12 has really become daycare as much as it has about educating. So elementary students, I think that's the group that officials in Waterloo are most worried about. And for parents, if they are concerned about their kids being stuck home or having to learn remotely, I guess that's the silver lining, that it's not the kindergarten, first, second, third graders. It's the older kids who can, I guess, be home alone.
I was looking at a few of the social media posts as well. Is it known yet from the district, if you can drop your kid off at school, if they don't take the bus, are they able to be in person still?
So
or would
they
they do
haven't-
like a one set thing? Do we know?
Yeah, I would assume that they would have to do one set policy across the board. At the very least, they'd have to do like alternating days. The only thing that the district really hinted at was if a home didn't have access to the internet. So if a home didn't have internet access for one reason or another, the district would make arrangements for those students.
Right.
Wasn't really anything indicated about students who, have a ride to school and can get to school every day. Maybe, but I at that point I kind of wonder how many students are we talking about? What percentage of kids, get a ride from a parent, family member, or friend, or whatever the case may be, versus ride the bus? I would assume it's probably like a 75-25 split. So, can you make special accommodations for 25% of students, or is that just going to put more stress on teachers who are going to have to, do some remote learning?
Right.
I
few
mean, it
kids
just
sitting
it
in the
gets
classroom.
Yeah, the figuring out the logistics of that just gets really complicated, really, really fast.
Well,
So-
we'll definitely keep up on that in these next coming days. I'm sure we'll hear something.